the girl child, I will always drive it in. There's something called alternative high school. Is to give a child a second chance. Alternative high school for girls. Boys can go to school anytime, but the stigma for girls and the challenges is a lot enough for them.
We want to put in the front burner a major issue of learning at the basic foundation level, which is primary, junior secondary school and secondary school, where we have millions of young ones finishing school and simply disappearing, and then have nothing to do because they don't have any skills. That's what we want to address. We want to bring skills back to our school system from primary school, junior secondary school, and senior secondary school.
Now let's talk politics. The governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 election in Ogun State, Ladi Adebutu, has promised to resist attempts by some people planning to return the party back to comatose. He said this while addressing leaders and members of the party during a stakeholders meeting held at the party's secretariat in Abeokuta ahead of the Congress. The party chairman in the state, Sikirulai Ogundele, had recently joined forces with the former governorship aspirant, Jimmy Lawal, and the former deputy governorship candidate of the party at the last election, Adekunle Akinlade, to wrestle control of the party structure from Ladi Adebutu, who they accused of being responsible for the party's poor performance during the last general elections. Secretary of the party in the state, Sunday Sholari, and other executive members insist that there is no division within the party.
PDP is not divided. PDP is one. All the members of the working committee of the party are one. All the members of the state executive committee of the party, 57 of us, are one. I will continue to remain one. So if you see any information circulating on social media, please take it as the handiwork of mischief makers. And they are going to have no place in PDP Ogun State.
Our party shall remain one. We will avoid any temptation that can cause us to return to the days of discord and disunity.
Let's bring you more stories. The Minister of Transportation, Saidu Akali, says government is determined to reduce the financial burden on Nigerians through investments in the sector. He made this known at the flag-off of the Port Harcourt-Aba passenger train service. Correspondent Uchiyokuru has details.
The complete distance of the Eastern Narrow Gauge rail line from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri is 1,443 kilometers long. From Port Harcourt to Aba is 62 kilometers, but the completion of this phase is a major milestone considering several missed deadlines. For the ministry, the opening of this route would ease movement and business between Rivers and Abia states.
We are going to ride on the train from Port Harcourt to Aba, and from today, the passenger train will commence. By the grace of God Almighty, from Aba, we are going to proceed to Enugu, and from Port Harcourt to an airport and Port Harcourt port, so that we'll be able to put freight service in the corridor.
Traveling by road from Port Harcourt to Aba costs at least 2,000 naira, but a trip on the train would cost 1,500 naira. The minister promised that extra measures would be taken to further reduce the price for a train ride.
The ministry is considering a lot of things. In fact, as we speak, we have engaged an investor on retrofitting our locomotive from diesel to CNG, so that to further bring down the cost of transportation.
Many residents are happy to see the train back on the track after a long time. They are hoping the return would be sustained and the services improved upon over time.
We have witnessed physically the commencement of the rail line. We believe God that it's not just flag off, it's going to continue with the intent to ease the transportation challenges for these two states, because we are made to understand that the flag off is just for the first phase, comprised of Port Harcourt and Aba. We believe strongly that the transportation challenge we see on the road will be taken care of by the resumption of this rail. And since the rail is on the line, we believe that the economic life will be back.
Railway officials say there will be free train rides until the 4th of May, while full commercial operations resume on the 7th. The train will be departing for Aba by 8 a.m. and begin the journey back to Port Harcourt by 3 p.m. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.
Candidates of the All Progressives Congress in the Edo State governorship election, Monday Okwebolo, says is committed to the development of rural communities through the construction of link roads to boost agriculture and its means of transportation. He stated this during the flag-off of the construction of 6-kilometer Udomi Road in Esho North local government area of Edo State. The report.
Udomi, Onewa, Uwasen are rich agricultural growing communities in Esan Central and Esan North local government areas of Edo State. These agrarian communities have common challenges. Poor road network, a problem they have been grappling with for decades. One of the bad roads is the Udomi Road, which links several other communities and through to other local government areas. After years of waiting, Suko has finally come as the construction work begins. Monday Okpoholo, the senator representing Edo Central and the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, performs the symbolic flag-off of the 6 kilometers road.
When I was growing up, this used to be my road. I used to carry broom from here to Ogun to sell so that I could buy sandals. I think the first thing I should do is to tar this road and make this road comfortable for my people. And my people are happy because we have flagged up this road and the job commenced. And by the grace of God, we complete it.
For these natives, the presence of the bulldozer is a sign that the years of suffering on the road is coming to an end.
Formerly, the road was so bad and nobody was applying the road before. When this road is completed now, I think that the most important thing, we that farmer here, will be very happy because to transport our farmers, our farm product to the town is very difficult before.
Honestly speaking, if there is any word for me to use more than this happiness, I would have said it. Everybody in this village, both old and young, including myself standing speaking with you, we are so happy, so glad, so grateful to our distinguished Senator Monday Okwebo.
The project is expected to be completed within the next 5 months.
More suspects have been arrested in connection with the case of a 39-year-old fruit trader who allegedly killed his childhood friend in Okegbo community of Ondo State. Parading the suspects and others in Akure, the State Commissioner of Police, Abayomi Oladipo, said some of them have confessed to committing the crime. Senior reporter Ayodiji Muradeyo reports.
A month after a 39-year-old fruit trader, Babalola Dolapo, was arrested for allegedly killing his childhood friend and stealing his motorcycle, more suspects have been arrested by the Ondo State Police Command. The suspect took the police to the scene of the incident at Okegbo and in Leolujo Okegbo local government area of the state. 3 suspects who bought the stolen motorcycle were paraded by the police. Also paraded by the police are 3 herbalists who allegedly bought human parts from the suspected killer of his childhood friend.
Deceived his childhood friend by name one Joel Olagoke to take them with his motorcycle to a location where he was killed. His body dismembered and handed to herbalists. The motorcycle collected from Joel Olagoke was later recovered at Ibadan, Oyo State, from one Olayinka Abiola.
5 suspected kidnappers, a ringleader of a cult group, and a middle-aged man who specialized in stealing laptops and other accessories were also arrested. While some of the suspects confessed to the crime, others denied involvement.
It was not been long that I started it. So I was arrested by a few laptops, but being recovered with some. Throw our car, then kidnap another people from first side, and now for there they live. As they not catch the people, why then kidnap them, then catch us, then say now we do kidnap.
We just snatch the bike from them, but some people they will try to brag and argue with us. They will not want to leave it willingly, so that's why we use the stick on them.
We want to use this opportunity to appeal to members of the public to always give information to security agencies that would aid us in nipping in the bud criminal intentions.
According to the police commissioner, the suspect will be charged to court after the conclusion of investigation. Aida Moradeyo, TVC News, Akure.
The federal government, through the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, has announced plans to review rates of mining licenses and other sundry fees payable by mining operators in the country. Speaking during a consultative meeting with stakeholders in the mining industry, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, emphasized the need to review the boost to capacity of governments to effectively reposition the mining sector. The minister revealed that apart from ongoing reforms, the federal government is sanitizing the mining environment through the newly unveiled mining marshals, which he affirmed has been conducting operations in parts of the country to protect legitimate miners and combat illegal mining.
When you look at the amount of money that is being made from the sector, and you see what comes into government coffers as obligation, I mean, the gap is too wide and the report is so dismal. And so, for us to continue to ensure that we secure the environment, the operating environment, and keep putting in place measures that will ease the operational difficulties and challenges that confront the operators, we need to review the rates. We use money to make money.
The police in Edo State say there is no going back on its resolve to bring to book all perpetrators of murder and other violent crimes in the state. They read the riot act to criminals when the Assistant Inspector General of Police for Zone 16, Paul Omata, visited the command headquarters in Port Harcourt. Correspondent Uche Okoro has details.
It's AIG Paul Omata's first visit since assuming his supervisory role over Rivers and Bayelsa State Police Commands. He is in Port Harcourt to familiarize himself with the officers and share his vision with them. He noted the peculiar nature of Rivers State and how the Commissioner of Police has handled the security challenges.
In the south region of the country, Port Harcourt is one of the biggest cities, and therefore it takes a lot to police the environment. I want to congratulate the Commissioner of Police, his management team, the area commanders and DPOs, and equally the rank and file for doing a great job in this state.
The AIG conveyed assurances from the Inspector General that action is being taken to keep personnel motivated to do their jobs.
Of recent, he launched a police housing summit in which policemen from the rank of constable upward will benefit from the housing scheme, which is going to be spread all over the country, River State inclusive. And recently, last 2 or 3 weeks, they released promotion of the junior ranks. They were promoted to the various ranks from constable to inspectors. And I am aware that there's ongoing recruitment exercise in which more men will be drafted into the police force to beef up the manpower of the Nigerian police.
On its part, the command says the successful manhunt for wanted gang leaders witnessed in the last few months would continue.
You don't kill anybody in this state and expect to go scot-free. We are working frantically on it. A lot of arrests. Probably are talking about the last one that a woman police was killed. 16 suspects have been arrested in that case. We have the instance when the police officer was killed under the bridge. Very soon you'll get to hear about it. We have gone so far about it. You still remember that a divisional police officer was killed here by some miscreants those who perpetrated in that have been arrested. So nobody kills a police officer, security officer, or anybody for that matter in this state and goes scot-free with it.
The AIG Zone 16 also encouraged synergy amongst officers and with the residents for more intelligence-driven policing. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.
Today is World Press Freedom Day, and it is dedicated to the importance of journalism and freedom of expression in the context of the current global environmental crisis. According to the annual World Press Freedom Index published by Reporters Without Borders, political attacks on press freedom, including the detention of journalists, suppression of independent media outlets, and widespread dissemination of misinformation significantly intensified in the past year around the world. It adds that about 1,668 journalists have been killed in the past 20 years. The index ranks 180 countries on the ability of journalists to work and report freely and independently. And here in Nigeria, journalists have witnessed an improvement in press freedom since the military era, but there's still room for enhancing press activities nationwide. Nigerian journalists at this year's commemoration honored their fallen colleagues who lost their lives in the pursuit of truth. Oloma Oyemachi has details.
The United Nations General Assembly recognizes the critical role of a free press in fostering democracy, transparency and accountability by formally proclaiming the 3rd of May as World Press Freedom Day. This annual observance serves as a global platform to highlight the fundamental importance of press freedom and to remind governments worldwide of their obligation to safeguard and promote the rights to freedom of expression as enshrined in Article 19 of the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights. In Nigeria, the path to press freedom is different, full of twists and turns. The press have faced censorship, challenges and occasional triumphs.
We are coming from the military era. If you want to compare our experience during the military era and our experience in the last 20 years or so, you will say, okay, we are doing very well.
Journalists still believe that press freedom remains under threat, often masked by claims of national security concerns, as they emphasize the critical need for the federal government to safeguard press freedom.
In the countries that is under a democracy, we are not saying that we are saying that nobody is above the law. Even journalists are not above the law. But we are saying that in determining who is wrong, who is right, the place to go is a competent court of law.
Government really has to rise to the occasion in this regard, mostly by enacting laws that could ensure that journalists are not in any way endangered species.
We need to have more advocacy talks on it, allow journalists to carry out their daily activity without intimidation or fear.
Touching on the 2024 theme, Press for the Planet, Journalism in the Face of Environmental Crisis, respondents emphasized the vital role of journalists in addressing environmental challenges.
Section 22 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria states that the press shall be free at all times to uphold the accountability and responsibility of the government to the people. And if the federal government does not abide by this rule, even sharing information on environmental crisis will not be possible. Uloma Oyemachi, TVC News, Abuja.
In line with his commitment to significantly leverage gas to grow the economy, President Bola Tinubu will inaugurate 3 critical gas infrastructure projects being undertaken by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and partners. The project supports the federal government's efforts to grow value from the nation's gas assets while eliminating gas flaring. The delivery of the project was accelerated from the inception of the administration, in keeping with the overall objective of deepening domestic gas supply as a critical enabler for economic prosperity. This project is an expansion to the Kwale gas processing plant, which currently supplies about 130 of gas to the domestic markets. The visitation panel to Taraba State University has submitted its findings to the state government. One suggestion on the list is a total overhauling of the institution to save it from collapse. Speaking to journalists in Jalingo, the chairman of the visitation panel, Professor Josiah Sabo-Kente, says the institution faces a notable deficit in academic staff across its facilities. TVC News reporter Owulabi Adenusi files in this report.
Taraba State government says it will transform the state university into the best citadel of learning in the country. To achieve that, the government set up a visitation panel to the university with a 12-point terms of reference, which include identifying the challenges confronting the institution. Now, the panel has submitted its report as Governor Kefa's promises to implement the recommendations of the panel. The chairman of the panel says the pattern and frequent turnover in the appointment of the chairman of the governing council without the university administration experience has adversely affected the implementation of the university's strategic goals, policies and direction.
Tenure staff in the university are only 609, and out of that 609 staff, 218 are graduate assistant in training. Out of that figure again, you have 140 they're either visiting adjunct or those that are on sabbatical. So by the time you remove the 218 or you remove the 140, the university will have only barely 400 and something staff, academic staff.
The university is said to have obtained an unauthorized loan of 1.5 billion naira, which was revalidated in March 2022, and currently has outstanding liabilities of 4.8 billion naira, including unpaid salaries and third-party deductions. The report highlights infrastructural challenges such as lighting, water shortage, and insufficient medical facilities, among others.
From 2010 to 2023, in fact, we took analysis of the financial record of the university year by year. I have the detail here. I'm going to give a copy of the report. You scan through, get the details. In fact, there are where we even recommended for people to refund money. So they violated all financial instructions. They just spend at will. At a point, I told you there was no cash book. They were just using what to call a electronic transfer, and that was all. How do you run a system like that?
The chairman of the panel, however, denied media reports that they were induced with 100 million naira during the investigation by the institution management.
That's all on politics tonight, but we sincerely apologize that we can no longer bring you the interview with Group Captain Sadiq Shehu Garuba. This is definitely beyond our control. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Good night, and please have a great weekend.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories. Without the news from every perspective. Covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Nigerian head of state, Yakubu Gowon, opened the nation's £6 million sterling national stadium in Surulere, Lagos.
For many, Nigeria's greatest sports moment took place in this stadium. Since it was opened in 1972, the Lagos National Stadium has hosted many iconic sports events. From the African Games in 1973 to the Cup of Nations in 1980 to the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in 1999.
1977, when we have the former, is it late now, Joe Avalanche coming to watch Raka Rivers and Ben Entrance play under floodlights here. I was very young then. I was in secondary school, and it was unbelievable. The atmosphere, the crowd, man, I can never forget that particular day.
It was here that Samuel Sochukwu Mokwaraji died, if you remember that. And that shows you how thick this stadium, you know, how Nigerians troop to this place. I think this is a legacy. Remember in, 1980, when Nigeria won the Nations Cup. It holds a lot of memories.
I would say it was the 1980 Nations Cup final. Then you talk about the Taraba West Taraba West Friends. There was a match organized by Friends of Taraba West in his retirement, and it was a monumental match, a match that I had never seen the stadium got that kind of capacity. The biggest, I think, was Nigeria 99, when Nigeria hosted the world. It was a stadium that everybody wanted to have a feel of.
Nigeria Olympic qualification against Zimbabwe under-23 at National Stadium that Dukuri scored, died into the end of the game. Nigeria needed to win to qualify to the Olympics. I think Sydney Olympic 2000, if I'm mistaken. And the goal came around 93 or 94 minutes.
Since 2004, this sport asset, which members of a visiting Brazilian delegation had described as more beautiful than any stadium in their country as far back as 1999, has been left abandoned and allowed to rot.
It's a manifestation of government's inconsistencies, because the policy somersaults of subsequent governments, it has made the stadium, it's lost its direction. This minister will come with his own policy, the next one will come with another policy.
Very, very sad and disheartening. You see, I've been to so many stadia all over the world, and I think a good national stadium should be a monumental edifice for the country to make money from. It's so painful that subsequent governments have not really paid the needed attention to sports facilities and other infrastructures in this country. Coming to this place, sometimes I don't really like coming to the National Stadium. It makes me feel like crying.
The National Stadium is just a reflection of our national life. Wastes. And then people in authority not making the right decisions for whatever reasons. The property is that of the federal government, and it's in the custody of the Ministry of Sports. I think the Ministry of Sports will be left to do its job, but government, as is checking CBN and the other issue, asks the Sports Ministry. How far? What are our expectations? When is this going to be?
Some effort by the immediate former Minister of Sports to renovate and restore the main bowl has not yielded the desired result. After fixing the pitch, the track and the scoreboard, the main bowl has not been able to host any event. Except for these members of the amputee national men's football team, the Special Eagles who train on the main pitch in preparation for the World Cup qualifying Africa Cup of Nations holding in Egypt.
Chief Sunday Dare did one or two things. He sort of donated the renovation of the track and the scoreboard. And I think Sunday Dare had hoped that some other persons will take the terraces, yeah, and then at the end of the day, a wholesome package will be available Baba Jabu has done the track, does scoreboard, some other person does the dressing room, another person does the reserve seats and state box, bits and pieces like that. It was just a creative way to bring it back, but it hasn't quite worked.
Every minister that is appointed will always come, to show his face on TV, inspecting the National Stadium. I can't remember the number of, ministers that came here. They will just come, talk, go back, and the same thing will happen. Before John the present minister came, I think it was Sunday Dare, the former minister that was talking about concession here. Perhaps he left and passed over the notes to John because it's too early for him to have visited. The first day he came, he was talking about concession.
There has been seeming endless talk about concession in the facility.
When Goodluck Jonathan was president, my partner and I, we wrote a proposal with 3D stuff to him to concession it to us. Jonathan's government responded by setting up a committee and then another committee until he left office. We didn't hear anything. And what we put there was that it will serve as the pilot to inform other concessions. Because you see, concessioning a stadium isn't just taking the business and build and then you don't have activities. It has to come with activities. We still have the swimming pool. We have the tennis court. I think the swimming pool is functional. We have the tennis court, which is, well, just okay. Then there's the legacy pitch where they do training. So bits and pieces can be put together since they have not quite considered the idea of outright concession.
Let's forget about the concession of this stadium or the contrast. This stadium is weak, and I fear for the lives here. You remember some time ago, the mass and everything fell.
In all the years of its abandonment, the facilities have gradually deteriorated with collapsed lamp trusses and weak structure. Concession arrangements for existing infrastructure like that of the Lagos National Stadium Surulere can take the form of a public-private partnership or a management contract, which terms are dictated by law. In Nigeria, the Federal Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission is the body responsible for laying the groundwork and arranging any such agreement. Already, a semblance of a public-private partnership has been in place at the swimming center since 2017 and the tennis center.
The National Stadium Lagos shouldn't be given to one person because there are so many sports or sporting facilities within that complex. The main bowl in itself is a monument I think should be well guided. We shouldn't joke with our national monuments. The National Stadium is a monument as far as I'm concerned. It's a place that the government should have kept hold of. Maybe just this concessioning, many groups can have, because of so many aspects of sports, you can't give it to one person.
The present regime should invest more into sports. If you want to tackle insecurity, not just National Stadium, Nigeria should be open up to sport because it's a very big business and a very big employer of youth.
With concerns over perceived secrecy on concession plans on the Lagos Stadium, Nigerians are expecting an open process to secure a worthy partner to help restore the country's most iconic sports complex.
Because most times, they do things under the table before they bring it out. I think that when you are concessioning a very massive place like this, I think that Nigerians should know. People should know. There should be an advertisement to that effect. People should know those who are behind it. If they are concessioning the stadium, let us know and let it be done properly. You're not just concessioning things. There are some concessions that you do and it will begin to hurt you. This is Sports City where Nigerian athletes from everywhere, people come here to train.
Why our elites selling Nigeria to themselves? Why do they want to consider National Stadium? Let government take care of it. It should not be considered to anyone to manage. Nigeria can take care of National Stadium. It belongs to Nigeria. Nigeria government, we have Ministry of Sport. What are they doing there? Are they just on salary? and give it to private organization. No. What are they using the allocation or budget being given to national sporting facility every year? What are they using it for?
Once it's transparent, everything is in public domain. You advertise it, concessionaires put in applications, they shortlist them, and then they set up a committee, which may include somebody from related government agencies. Put it open. Anybody who wants should come with his presentation. That, okay, we are a consortium. This, that is in it. This is what we bring to the table. This is what we hope to achieve. And this will be return on the investment. If a lead consortium comes, he has a swimming pool expert, he has a ball game expert, he has, like the situation in London. Somebody takes the main boat, then somebody takes the swimming pool, and one other thing. That kind of leads concessionaire and subs will do for me. That will be easier.
But whatever the decision the Federal Ministry of Sports and the Concession Regulatory Commission arrives at, it is hoped that the process will be transparent and comply with procurement laws of the country. Solomon Ajiziogu, TVC News, Lagos.
Cost of housing varies from city to city and from neighborhood to neighborhood. Sometimes the quality of materials used in building a house also contributes to the price the landlord puts on it. Here at the Federal University of Technology, Mina, there is a huge deficit in accommodation. There are not enough hostels to accommodate the students, and decent accommodation is a vital component of learning for students. At a pre-convocation press briefing at the institution, the Vice Chancellor of the university acknowledged that accommodation is one of the challenges in the school.
Out to our alumni, friends and stakeholders with the means to consider supporting us in providing hostel accommodation as the population of students keep increasing. We welcome genuine private investors who are interested in engaging in a public-private partnership for this endeavor.
Out of more than 26,000 students, the school hostel can only accommodate less than 5,000, leaving a question begging for an answer. What about the other 19,000 students? That's where my story begins. Directly opposite the Federal University of Technology, Mina, is the host community called Gidankwano. The community is a rural community without some basic infrastructure and social amenities, except for the Federal University of Technology that moved its permanent site here. I drove around the neighborhood in a tricycle, moving from one lodge to another, comparing prices. I saw that the quality of building or available facility in some houses does not commensurate with the rent. Most of the rooms here are single rooms, self-contained. For example, this one cost 240,000 naira, and it was so poorly designed that the shower is positioned directly on the toilet seat. The occupant here has clearly nowhere to stand to have a bath.
How are you supposed to shower? Are these meant for flushing?
220,000 naira for a lot that there's no wardrobe, no kitchen cabinet. You really want to fix everything, and even the condition of the house. This is no POP, everything, and this is a very serious issue because the things are just going. There's going to school and coming back here is 500 naira per day. Not even about eating and the rest. Not to talk of the house accommodation again.
Just close to this apartment is another one where a room, a parlor and a kitchen, toilet and bathroom costs a whooping 750,000 naira, and a single room goes for 450,000 naira. Yet, students are paying for it. Outside this area, many people do not pay this much to rent a house. Nothing special here. The house is not furnished, no alternative source of power or generator, only constant water supply and a gateman. At this apartment with over 50 rooms, the fee is 275,000 for a single room self-contained. Although expensive, some students that live here find the way of augmenting this money by either pairing with another student or engaging in small businesses. Olamilekun Yusuf is an engineering student that uses machine learning to create computer-assisted devices.
Gas level monitoring and leakage detection system, whereby you can monitor the level of your gas and also to know if your gas is leaking remotely while you're not at home. So I do hands-on experience such as embedded system, computer vision, and AI, and also machine learning, whereby we do projects like we bring ideas into reality in our department. For example, now undergraduate projects and also postgraduate projects.
We play now, like now this is our load. It was like 160. When we started renting it like when I was in 300 level, but now the current price is 275.
That's a 71% increase in just 2 years. Yakub's story resonates among many students who pay a huge fee to rent a room off campus at the Federal University of Technology in Mina. For many others, they cannot even find an affordable accommodation close to school. The other apartments for students who cannot afford these are in bad conditions without water and security fence. A room costs between 80,000 to 120,000 naira. This particular house has just one toilet and bathroom for all the tenants, and it is located behind the house. The toilet and bathroom in this one faces the main road.
That they pay for a year. We students have been complaining. They have been complaining a lot because the prices that they put doesn't worth the houses that we do see here. I don't know, because most landlords say, if you meet them and talk to them concerning the lodges, so they will just say they have no choice because the economy is high, so everything now is so cost. So that's why they have to just increase the house rent.
On campus, the student union government is enraged by the attitude of landlords, which they consider to be exploitative, and they want the school authority to intervene.
On your mandate, go, go. On your mandate, go, sir. On your mandate, we shall stand.
Why are the landlords now making education a problem by making students not have a place to lay their heads? I can tell you that we didn't just come up with this agitation. It was the happenings that pushed us to the wall. Seeing our students who were not able to get the hostels due to the limitation in hostel accommodation, sleeping off campus, sleeping in classes without having a comfortable environment to lay their heads. So this has become an issue of major concern to us, and we are calling on the government and every other parastatal to put their hands in this and see to the resolution of this issue, as it has become a depleting menace within this university campus and even the nation at large.
Accommodation on campus is a lot cheaper, with better facilities including security, proximity to lecture rooms. A bed space in the old hostel cost 40,000 naira, while the new hostel with internet, air conditioning system cost between 135,000 naira for a room of 4 and 150,000 naira for a room of 2. Yet, they are not enough. This is partly because towards the end of last year, the school moved all the students from the old campus in Boso, which has served as the main campus for over 30 years, to the new campus, which was opened a few years ago. I met with Dr. Bashiru Ganiu, who is the Dean of Student Affairs. He is in charge of student accommodation. He says the solution to the accommodation crisis is to have more private individuals invest in building hostels inside the school.
All right, because university, we cannot accommodate all the students, looking at the dwindling resources, very meager resources that come from government. And how much are we even charging as school fee? I want to believe FUT Mina school fees is the cheapest in the country. We are charging 39,900, which is far less than what parents pay in nursery and primary school. And that is for one session, for a whole year university. You get the point? So they bought land, they build those houses, and they fix what they want to fix. Now, what we can do is, and what we have even attempted to do in the past is that, yes, we notice the way people charge. We are trying to, we made attempt to see that, okay, we come in as to serve as middlemen between our students and these landlords, all right? So that, but the landlord discovered that, no, if they allow that to come to fruition, they will not be able to charge what they want to charge. And they feel it's an investment. They invested their money for them to be able to get their returns as quick as possible.
We were unable to get any landlord to speak or agent to talk about the hike in accommodation.
Deficit in accommodation is oftentimes not a new challenge for most Nigerian universities, as the universities are not able to provide enough accommodation on campus for their students, who now turn to their host communities to get accommodation. Now landlords and developers are taking advantage of this challenge by exploiting the students and their parents. What can be done to avert this and bring the landlords to table of compromise as they too complain of the high cost of building materials? Chanemi Bameyi, TVC News, Mina.
My love, good morning. How are you?
Fine.
How's everything?
It's another day at the Alige's residence in Agege. This time, we are here to witness a donation by a non-governmental organization to the Alige family. But before then, Halima told me the current situation after TVC News aired their story on the 24th of March, 2024.
State House of Assembly, they said they are going to take care of. They are going to give her scholarship and then treat her and taking care of her is very weird. That's their promise for us. But nothing.
So tell me, what does Amina need to do now? What are the things that she needs to do?
Amina needs medical attention. Like if you say Amina now, her body is shaking. She cannot hold anything again. If I tell Amina to hold something for you, this is how her hand will be shaking. I don't know, maybe it's that thing that affects her body like that. I don't know. She's not strong again like before. They're silent, as if it's nothing important to them. Maybe it's not it's because it's not their child. They don't know what I'm feeling. Don't make you do something, please.
We received a letter from the Office of the Attorney General of Edo State, in which they say that they are already giving extra attention to the letter we wrote and watching on the TVC television the event, and they were able to see the state in which Amina was. So they were really moved. And they are working on it. But notwithstanding, we want an action that is faster than this.
Amina Talige is a 12-year-old girl who was hit by a tear gas canister allegedly fired by a police officer that works with the Division of Police Headquarters, Dr. Mualabo Agege, an incident that cost her an eye. She reacted to the police medical report that she fell on a blunt object.
There was no sharp or blunt object there. That place was like cemented and it was at the front of the mosque. There's no sharp object there. Even to hold something for too long, I can't hold it. But it's after this thing happened that it starts shaking.
A non-governmental organization Agege Molebi United Forum, is here after watching Amino's story on TVC News. They are here to bring the family a message of love and hope.
God is going to touch you.
Presented the Alege family with a sum of 1 million naira, the group said it is important to rally round the young girl.
We saw it on the TV, TVC, and the compassionate heart, we all gathered money. We said we need to give back, do something to support the girl. It's disastrous, and we know it was not intentional. It could happen to anybody, and we know they will need funds. So this is just a little support from us to show that we are human, and she's from Agege. We need to put in our best.
The new and youngest member of the Agege Molebi United Forum shared that joy.
I feel very happy that I joined their member, and I know that there is hope that I will become what I want to be in future.
After the first surgery that set the bones around her right eye, Amina Alege still has 2 more surgeries to go. The family said they are yet to hear from the government and the Nigerian police, especially the Lagos command, regarding the cost of treatment.
This is the entourage of the Commissioner of Police, Lagos Command, and Secretary to the state government arriving via Lega's house at Cement Agege on Tuesday, 18th of April, 2004. They are here on behalf of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. As a mother, Mrs. Abimbola Sali Odeyin says she is pained about young Amina's predicament.
How are you?
She said she brought a message from the governor.
We are all here just to show to them that we care. Lagos cares, and we care for you, Amina. She represents every child that has a future in Nigeria. And if there were little payments they made, which the mother discussed with me, Mr. Gov had asked that the state must offset every kobo that they have spent. Let me also state here that Mr. Gov is highly empathetic as also a father. And he will do anything, the state will do anything to make sure that Amina's future is what God has purposed it to be.
For the Aleges, hearing from the governor is a relief, but they want more for their daughter.
There are many promises, but I don't see anything. Sometimes I think maybe they forget us. I want my daughter to see, because I believe you can see again. If they can do anything, the government should just help, because now she never know what is going on in her body now. I believe that she never know. It's me that is crying for her now. If they can help me fly her out.
Wọ́n fún wa ní 5 million naira. Àmọ́ owó tó ń fún wa àdúpọ̀ lọ́wọ́ wọn. Àmọ́ kíní yìí ó sì kọ́ ilé rẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ ní ó ṣe kókó. Bó ṣe wà yẹn, ọwọ́ ẹ̀ sì ń gbọ̀n ara ẹ̀ sì ń gbóná pé kó fún wa ní ìtọ́jú tí tó péye kó bá a ṣe fún.
Amina Alege has 2 more surgeries to carry out, including an artificial eye implant to regain her confidence.
My mind is happy that the Commissioner of Police and the SSG came to visit me, and they promised me that they will do better, more than that for me. My hand is not getting better, it's even getting worse. I can't write by myself. It will be shaking every time. I usually have headache.
During this visit, a call was put through to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Olusegun Ogboye, concerning Amina's shaky hands, a health condition that needs to be urgently checked.